We are Heather and Paul Christie.
And for over 12 years, we've worked with executives and entrepreneurs to accelerate change in every aspect of their business.
Because we are in the fastest paced business environment that anyone has ever seen before.
So join us for the Evolve to Win show. Hey, welcome to another Evolve to Win show with Heather and Paul.
Hope you're having a great day today so far. We're talking to you today about 3 must-have career goals.
Yeah, so tell us about them.
Okay, well, let me just jump right in. Okay, so first things first, as a foundation, as you're thinking about your career goals, you have to really know what is your ultimate goal? What is your vision? So whether you're looking to advance in your existing career and get a promotion or a raise, whether you're looking to get into a different industry, maybe start a new business, whatever it is, like understand the big picture goal first, right?
Okay. Yeah. And would you say that most people, especially employees, generally do not have they're clear on the goal that they want for themselves?
Most often when we work with employees, they don't have enough clarity on what they want. And I think part of it is because there's some unwritten rule that's out there, or they think there's an unwritten rule out there, that it's up to the company to figure out what their career path is.
Right.
Which you certainly could leave that up to your company, but I don't recommend it, right? Because you actually have way more control than you think you do in terms of where you're going in your career. And this is what we're going to talk about today. There's 3 things that you can do that you should be doing to really take back that control and dictate where you go, how much you make, who you lead, all of that, right?
Right. And just to get back on, and I think one of the reasons why most people do not set out and create the goals for themselves and the extra learning and developing is because that ever since we were a little kid, we've been sent to school. Like, we'll teach you how to do it. So
we'll tell
you go
what
there, you show
take.
up, and they teach you what you get to choose some courses, but you have to be there. And then even in college, you go there and you choose the classes and you sit there and you're being taught that. You're not really doing it unless you're driven, unless you're a person that's really driven, like, this is what I want to do. And you are,
it goes right back to the vision. And you're so right about that. I was just thinking, when I first went into college, I don't know about you guys, but I was pretty lost. I wasn't sure what should my major be and what classes should I take. And when I was first going to school, I was in a big university and I couldn't get into any of the classes that I wanted to take. So my default was getting into any of the classes that I could take. And I ended up taking Russian my first semester of college, not because I was going to do anything with it necessarily, but I wanted a language and it was the only one left available. Right. So, So the question is, are you clear on what you want? Or are you just kind of doing your thing because that's what, the path that someone else has chosen for you?
Okay. So what is the number one career goal that somebody must have?
So the number one thing is your branding, right? Branding yourself, your own personal brand. And that basically is, what is the image that you are portraying to other people? And there may be a distinction between the image you're currently portraying and the image that you want to be portraying that matches up with your vision of where you want to go.
Got it.
Okay.
It's different now because we do have these different personas that we have. Like, it used to just be how you dressed, how you showed up for work, how you spoke to people and interacted with people, or how you led people. But now there's the kind of the alter ego of the social media ego, or who you are, persona, that could be wildly different from who you show up like at work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. So think about you are marketing yourself on your social media all the time. So you're doing it personally in interactions. That's all we used to have.
Yep.
But now we've got this entire brand that we have, which is called our social media network, if you're on social media. And by the way, if you're not, that's also part of your brand as someone who is not active in social media. So
what can somebody do to build their brand or brand themselves?
Well, I think first and foremost, you have to identify the brand that you want to have, right? How do you want to show up for people? What do you stand for? What area are you going to claim as your own expertise? And this is where some people probably start to freak out a little bit, like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know who I want to be. You can either take what you're doing now and figure out how to become an expert in that part of your business, or you might even choose like a sub-market niche, right?
Right.
So if I'm an attorney and I choose to be a technology attorney, then I go and become an expert technology lawyer.
And how would that show up, and what platform would you choose? You could choose any one of them, but if you did, what kind of things would you post on there to show your brand awareness, your expertise in an area?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when you first of all, you figure out the image that you want to portray, right? That's step one. Then you take a look at the image you're currently portraying. Does it match up with the image you want to portray? If not, you have work to do. I recommend you choose one platform on social media, one only, at least to start with.
Yeah, whatever one works best for you.
Yeah.
So if you want to be on video and you think that's important, which video is really important right now, so you choose YouTube, or you could do Facebook Lives like this one is now. You could do Facebook where you record yourself and then you post things. You could also go on LinkedIn.
If you're a professional, I highly recommend getting way more engaged in LinkedIn. And I think whatever platform you choose, it's important that you begin to start pushing content out, whether it's your own. If you don't have any yet, go and find content from others who are in the network, in the industry, and share that content, and share just a note or a thought about why you chose to share that content. What does it mean for you? How does it apply? So you're really starting to sort of take your space in a certain niche, and you're starting to advertise that a little bit. You're starting to market yourself as someone who's passionate about this niche. So I think this is a really important part, is if you're saying nothing or doing nothing, especially if you're a professional and you're on LinkedIn and you don't have any sort of presence out there, then you look like most other people on LinkedIn. But the minute that you decide the space that you want to be in and the expertise that you want to claim, you're going to start spending a lot more time learning in that area. You can join industry associations, not because your company tells you to, but because you're passionate about your industry. So this is one of the biggest points we want to make, and it'll happen in all three, goals that we talk about for you, is that the things that you're doing here to build whether it's your brand, your personal brand and image, or whether it's in some of the other areas, is that you're doing this not because someone else is telling you to do it. You're doing it not because someone else is paying for you to do it. You're doing it because you are passionate about what you do and you're passionate about the industry that you're in. So start to get involved in that industry.
All right, you're starting to creep into some of the other goals. So that the number one goal that we just spoke about was branding yourself.
Yes.
So brand yourself. So this may sound like, well, why would I want to do that? Why should I brand myself? And because if you have a goal of getting, increasing your promotion or get a raise, or maybe to find a new job, it's so important to really have a great social media image and showing that you actually care about a particular, a specific area of business.
Yeah. And by the way, if you are deciding that you want to jump ship and either get into a different company or even a wholly different industry, I can promise you that most of the recruiters are looking at your social media presence. Over 70% of people who are hiring, that's one of the steps in the hiring process, is to take a look at your social media. So would your social media get you hired by this other company?
Okay, Heather. So that's number one, is brand yourself. Number two is learn new technical skills.
Yeah. So when you think about your career path, your future vision for where you want to be, what are the technical skills that you either need to take to the next level, or what are the brand new skills that you need to learn? Mm-hmm. So this is something that in your existing company, you certainly could sit down with your manager, have a conversation about your career path and say, what would be, where do I need to grow? What a great conversation to have, right? Where do I need to grow? What skills do you need me to develop? let's talk about this next promotion or this next job opportunity that I'm looking for in the near future. What would I need to do to land that job? How many people actually proactively start asking those questions? Not enough. So talk to your manager, identify the skill. Soon as you figure out what that skill is, then you go on a hunt and you start reading, watching, and listening to everything you can related to that new skill. Find out if your company already has any kind of program to help you develop that skill. If they don't have a program, ask your manager if they would support you in finding some outside resources. And by the way, there are a lot of times where your company will pay for you to get this new certification or to get some sort of credential that you don't currently have.
And if that all fails, nobody wants to pay for it, pull your wallet out of your pocket or your purse and invest in yourself.
Yes. Amen. Now, why would you do that? Why would you, if you're working for another company and you're seeking to develop a skill that would benefit that company, but that company doesn't want to invest in your credentials or your certifications, they don't want to support you financially in developing that new skill, why would you get off your wallet?
Well, you don't. You just stay where you are.
Or you can stay where you are.
And blame your company that they didn't invest in you and cry about it and complain.
Okay.
Or the other alternative is that you take it on, you pay for it yourself, you go on YouTube and you learn everything you can about that area that you're interested in, and go find a great online course or certification program and go do it yourself.
And by the way, let's just talk about some of the options. It does not have to cost a fortune. In fact, a lot of times you can find everything you need for free. And I know this sounds ridiculous, but do you know how many resources are out there? You can even go to your public library and get books, read the top 3 current books, best-selling books in your area of expertise. That costs nothing, right? But there are also courses out there that are unbelievable. I've taken courses through Udemy or through Coursera. Coursera, Coursera. Coursera has all of these university courses from the top universities in the world with the top professors where people are paying a small fortune to actually get a degree from. And you can actually sit in and audit the course for free. So anybody,
I know, I went to Princeton.
You did?
I did.
Yeah. I went to Oxford.
I did.
Yeah, I did.
I actually did. I watched this incredible professor. She must have been in her 80s or 90s, and she was still teaching, but I can't remember the course, but she was so engaging and she was so passionate about the course. But I'm like, holy cow, people are paying $100,000 a year to go to this, and I can sit inside the classroom and watch it.
Yeah. You're actually in the classroom. So absolutely, you can find so many different options for free. Udemy has courses on just about everything, and they're inexpensive. I just got an NLP certification course. That's neuro-linguistic programming. Amazing skill to have for anybody in leadership and sales, in business in general. And I think I got it for $19.99. So you think about it. So what does it take? You invest. If you want to get to that next level in your career, figure out where you need to invest in you, because every time you invest in you, you raise your value. When you raise your value, the compensation will come. I mean, one way or another, your company is going to pay for it because you are going to advance and you're going to get paid more money.
Or it's going to give you the confidence to be able to move on to another job and start marketing yourself.
Some other company will. If your company doesn't see it, some other company
let's recap the first 2. So these are the 3 must-have career goals. So number 1 is
brand yourself.
And number 2 is
up your technical skills.
And number 3 is,
what do you have for number 3?
Raise your leadership lid. So we did talk about the leadership lid in the last podcast. And so Heather, explain what the leadership lid is.
So quickly, again, this is a concept that was created by John Maxwell. And he basically says that the results of your organization will never outperform your leadership. So assuming that your next level career move is going to include a higher level of leadership, be thinking about who you want to be leading, how many people you want to be leading, what sort of positions will you be leading. and then really figure out what your gap is, right? Where do I need to increase some of my leadership skills? And this is, again, something that you can go to many different resources to read, watch, and listen to some of the best out there, anywhere from free to expensive. But it's really about identifying what is that skill gap. And again, this is a great place to go and sit down and talk with your manager as you talk about this career path for you and where you'd like to go, where you see yourself 5 years from now. Talk to your manager about what skills they see you're in need of developing. And whatever that means in terms of developing your leadership or your soft skills, just go after it.
And so, and to be more technical about that, it's to find yourself a mentor. Find somebody that you can model. If there's somebody that inspires you, that are really good at what they do, and you can learn. The fastest way to learn anything is through modeling other people.
Absolutely.
Is modeling. And it's the same thing with just in learning. So
yeah, find a leader, a coach, a mentor who you respect and you want to model yourself after. Start working with that person. And what's going to happen is, as that person works with you by osmosis, just by experience, you'll start to develop some of the skills and techniques that they're using with you. I mean, I know for us personally, we have invested more in our personal, professional, and leadership growth than we did in our formal educations even. And that's a big nut, right? For me, especially because I had a lot of law school loans. But we have always had coaches in this business. And, I remember our first coach, we hired our first coach because they had already done what we wanted to do in terms of building a firm. And we learned quite a lot from investing in that coach. It shortened our path. And then we invested in another coach who was phenomenal at relationship building and getting clients, and learned so much from her. And then, so I could go on and on with all these different coaches, but we have sought out coaches and mentors. And quite frankly, we've paid, it was some of our coaches, we were paying $3,000 a month for our coaching. We paid $5,000 a month for one of our coaches. And some people think about that and be like, wow, I could never afford that. That's way too expensive. And yet you think about what that brought to us and how much that shortened our path to success, because we were finding those people who had already been successful in what we wanted to do. So
it's total leverage.
It's complete leverage. It's just, look, you can get there on your own. Absolutely. You can get there, and you can get there much faster if you're reading, watching, and listening to, different people, gathering resources. But yeah, when you work with somebody individually, I just look at it as a shortened path. Yes, it's expensive up front, or it's an investment up front, but think about the return that you get from that investment. Right. So whatever it is for you, it doesn't have to cost $5,000 a month, but whatever it is for you, just make sure that you understand where you're headed and know that you are fully responsible for getting there. Your promotion is not up to your company. Your promotion is up to you. Your career path is up to you. And the minute that you really, really get that and take personal responsibility for it, that's when everything starts to change. So to recap, your personal brand, you have a personal brand out there. It's the image you portray to others, and it's there based on who you are, how you show up. It's also based on what your social media looks like. Oh, and by the way, what we didn't mention for personal brand, do you have your own website? Because that's a great way to control your personal brand outside of social media. How we got heatherchristie.com. This was such a great story. When I first tried to get heatherchristie.com, it was taken. And I was so upset. And then I looked to see who had it. And of course, it was the rock star, Heather Christie. Like, I can compete with her anyway, right? So she had the website. So I wrote a note to her web guy and said, hey, how much would you sell this website to me for? And I think at the time, this is like 10 years ago, they said something like $5,000. And I thought, yeah, I don't need that. So I went on, and I don't even know how I did this. I don't remember, but I went on to find out when that domain expired. And I put it in my calendar, and I set a reminder like 6 a.m., heatherchristie.com domain name is expiring. And Sure enough, that morning I happened to get the notification and it was early in the morning. And I thought, oh, let me just go check. I went on GoDaddy and I bought slash stole heatherchristie.com for $19.99. And I still have it. And she's probably still pissed at me, or at least pissed at her web guys. But get your own website. And if you can't get your name, come up with some version of it. But at least that helps you to dictate that personal brand. The
All right.
second
So number
one
2 is increase your technical competencies. So go in and invest in yourself, learn those technical skills in your job, your area that you're interested in, and raise that competency.
And ask your manager if they're willing to pay for it. And if not, could they at least subsidize it? How about splitting it? You would be surprised at how often companies will pay for coaching or skills. I mean, we have a lot of clients who come to us and we say, run it by your company, see if they'll pay for it. And they're surprised. They said, oh my gosh, I got approval.
Yeah.
So raise your technical skills.
And number 3 is
raise your leadership lid. So figure out who you want to lead. How many do you want to lead? What does that look like? What do you need to do for you to develop your leadership skills, your interpersonal communication skills, your skills and influence? And go find whatever resources you can. Start reading, start watching, start listening, get certifications and credentials wherever you can. And again, ask your company to pay for it. If they don't, ask them to subsidize it. If they don't, get up off your wallet and invest in you, because your value is what dictates how much income you make.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us for another Evolve to Win show. And if you like the show, please share it.
And if you haven't connected with us yet, please either go to heatherchristie.com and sign up for our leadership list, or you can connect with us on LinkedIn or on YouTube. Hope you have an awesome day.
Have a great day. Bye.